Hello, welcome to Life Talk. It is Tuesday, October 24th, 2017, and I'm Mark Crutcher.
And I'm Renee Hobbs. Thanks for joining us. We are finally back.
We're finally back.
It's been a while.
In a spirit of explanation here, what happened to us last week, we didn't do either show either Tuesday or Thursday of last week because we had illness here in the office, and our technical person that's Sarah, that's operating everything here today, was out with the flu. She's still wearing a mask. She looks like she's about to hold up a 7-Eleven store. But
she's trying to protect all of us.
The rest of us from getting the flu that she had. But she did give it to my daughter, who happens to be her roommate.
Yes.
And she's still out of work, and she sounds awful.
Yeah, she called today. She sounds really bad.
She sounds a lot better today, though, than she did.
Wow.
So that'll tell you how bad it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, but we're back. Neither one of us were sick, and probably if all goes well, we won't get sick. But although Renee's liable to, I'm not liable to, because you know, how many times have you seen me be sick since you've worked here?
Actually, quite a bit last year.
No, one time. I missed one time since I've been open Life Dynamics. I've only been off sick one time, and that was last year. For what, 2 days, I think?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think you're out for 2 days.
Yep, that's very unusual for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're back, and since we've talked to you last, we've been working on the
college campus
project, and it's really coming along. And
we've got some good schools.
We've got some real good schools, and we didn't get as much help from people out in the field as we wanted. Some of the student groups have really not helped us at all, and some of them have actually worked against us, but they'll have to answer for that. But so we've had to go out and go to some of the schools directly. And Renee and I just got back from California. We won't say where we were, but you're going to love it when it hits. And then we were in Pennsylvania and New Jersey a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
People are going to love it when they hit those two particular schools, those two schools in particular.
I'm sure people can guess where we were.
I don't know. Maybe they can. Maybe people in California and New Jersey and Pennsylvania can guess.
Yeah.
But maybe not the rest of the country.
Maybe not.
But anyway, we'll talk about it later because we got a real education in this place. It was pretty amazing what we saw out in California. But anyway, a lot's been going on in the area of exposing or just coming to the public eye some of the outrageous things that are going on in the abortion industry, which we talk about here all the time. And joining us from Wichita, Kansas, is our good buddy Troy Newman to kind of bring us up to date with some of that stuff. Troy?
Hey, it's great to be back on with you guys. All your illnesses make me want to tell you guys that I broke my finger. Does that rise to the level of any sort of concern down in Dallas?
Not at all. What do we care if he broke his finger? Do we really care?
Painful.
Well, you got the sniffles, and we all have to hear about it.
I didn't get the sniffles. Listen, for me to take off work, and to go to the doctor, how dead do I have to be?
You have to be pretty dead. People were very concerned last year because you were out.
Right, because I don't do it. I'm not particularly bragging about this, but when we adopted my daughter, when she was, we adopted her, she was 6 days old when we finally got her. But I was required by the state of Texas to go get a physical. I didn't go again until she was 26 years old. I didn't go to the doctor again until my daughter was 26. So,
well, you know what they say, men don't go to the doctor unless they're dying or their wife makes them.
Right, that's right.
That's about the only time I go.
And my wife
I set the bone myself and just moved on.
I was going to say, sometimes even the wife making you go, you're
that
not.
Won't do it.
Yeah.
That won't do it for me.
Not some men.
But my wife, of course, recruits my daughter and Sarah and Renee, and they all rag on me about going to the doctor. I'm not going, although I am scheduled to go November 2nd to get my eyes looked at.
Finally. It's about time.
It's about time. All right, Troy, bring us up to date with some of the juicy things that are going on with these baby killers out there.
Gosh, the abortion cartel, and I think that's a great name for them, the abortion cartel has really been at it lately, and we've been able to catch them. We noticed, I think it was just today, Jeff Sessions was saying they're really going to start going after the M13 gang, you know, the organized crime. And I said, wait a minute, are you talking about Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry?
Right.
Because when you look at it on its face here, just in the last couple of weeks, to start with the Michigan trunk abortionist, this guy, Michael Roth, 75 years old, up in Michigan, he pleaded no contest to felony convictions that he was literally doing abortionists out of the trunk of his car. He had an illicit
Right.
home abortion business, just traveling around. So this guy's license is suspended. He's pled guilty. I think he's only getting probation and a fine, but this guy's out of business.
And Lynn Mills confronted him going into court or leaving court, one or the other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Lynn Mills
awesome.
is a fantastic pro-life activist. I wish they all could be Lynn Mills.
Bold.
You know, that old Beach Boys song, I wish they could all be California girls.
Right.
I
Oh,
wish
no.
all activists were like Lynn Mills, that just put their nose to the grindstone and then do not turn away with any little hint of obstacles or stumbling blocks, that she pushes through and she makes sure that she gets her man. In this case, Roth is out of business, which is great.
Yes.
The other guy that was doing abortions at hotel rooms, this is a guy, Mark, you and I have known, Pendergraft.
Right.
James Pendergraft from Florida, Orlando, Florida,
Right.
for what, 2 or 3 decades? This guy has been in and out of jail, in and out of trouble. I think he's finally sealed the deal. This guy was sentenced to 5 years of probation on drug offenses, and the fact that he was doing abortions in hotel rooms, presumably. He was also kind of a trunk abortionist. He was traveling around with abortion drugs, abortion instruments, and aborted babies in the back of his car. And they caught up to him in South Carolina. He just pled guilty. Not going to serve any jail time, unfortunately. This guy deserves to be behind bars forever. But with this felony conviction, we're pushing the state of Florida to revoke his medical license there as well. And hopefully, prayerfully, and we're asking all your listeners here on Facebook Live to pray that this guy is out of business once and for all, and it will save just thousands of babies over the next couple of years.
If you read Pendergraft's history, he should have been in the state penitentiary 20 years ago.
Well,
Well,
that's
he
like
was.
Carhart.
He was in state pen for, a year or so, and then somehow he paid somebody off or something. He was able to get out and get that conviction overturned.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like Carhart. I mean, he's done some horrible, terrible things that has hospitalized, killed women, and his license was revoked, and now he's back into practice.
And he hops from state to state, and he can do something horrible in one state, and he can hop to another state, and it's like he gets to tear off the page and start all over
he can
again.
start all over
Right.
again.
So, and speaking of Leroy Carhart, the pro-life contingent in Germantown, Maryland, where he opened up 7 years ago, was able to purchase that building out from underneath him and close that abortion facility and get those people out of business. Unfortunately, Carhart is kind of branching out on his own, and he opened up an abortion mill in Bethesda, Maryland, which is real close to the D.C. Beltway. Now, we caught him. We knew where he was going. We scheduled an abortion. Our undercover team is phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about our staff at Operation Rescue. But he actually scheduled an abortion before he had his facility license. Okay? He was ready to do it, but because we exposed it, he had to cancel that week. He did get a provisional facility license to run a medical clinic, and he scheduled more abortions for this last Sunday, but he did not show up. There's a lot more to this story that will be coming out very shortly, but one thing we know about Leroy Carhart, other than the fact that he kills women, we know he's killed Kristen Gilbert and Jennifer Morbelli and injured dozens and dozens more. One poor woman committed suicide after having a Leroy Carhart abortion. This is the guy that the state of Nebraska told in a reprimand he can't fall asleep. He needs to stop falling asleep in the middle of abortions. You remember that one, Mark?
Yep, I do. And, we have all of these lefties out here who are pro-abortion, who are also hardcore animal rights people. And it appears that this guy had a barn or stable or something. He was trying to sell a farm and he couldn't sell it. All of a sudden it mysteriously catches on fire and a bunch of his horses burn up, and he gets paid off on the insurance by the insurance company for him.
Yeah, so I talked to one of the investigators on that. Of course, he blames all the pro-lifers, that allegedly we went there. But I talked to one of the investigators, the Attorney General's office, that was there during that fire, and they said this guy Leroy Carhart is the sort of guy that leaves an open gas can with a rag laying around next to a fireplace. That's the sort of guy he is. He's slovenly. He's in debt up to his eyeballs. He does very shoddy medical care. Not that you can call abortions medical care, but just about everything he touches is about as slovenly and disgusting as he looks.
Well, here's the point we need to make, Troy, and I've written about this, and we've talked about it before a lot of times on Live Talk. The problem that the abortion industry has is that they have to defend people like Carhart and Pendergraph and all the others that are out there doing these things because they can't get anybody else. The fact is, the abortion industry cannot be cleaned up. I've said this a million times before, and I'll say it again. It's like pornography and prostitution. You can make them legal. You can pay for them with government money. You can put them on every street corner. You can let them have 800 numbers and put them in the yellow pages and on internet ads and stuff. It's still a nasty business.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And there's nothing you can do to clean it up.
Disgusting, and you can't make it safe. You can't make it safe for the baby, and you can't make it safe for the mom. And you've mentioned this a dozen times, Mark. Abortion's the only surgical procedure that's done completely blind.
Right.
On top of the fact that Carhart's blind to begin with.
Yeah, right.
Well, and also the University of Wisconsin, they are trying to do away with their program where they teach how to do abortions and
abortion provision.
Abortion provision, yeah, which is a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Speaking of botched abortions, we've been able to record at least 9 ambulance runs to 6 different abortion mills in 6 different states.
Over what period of time?
This is just in the last 2 weeks.
Right.
People come to us, and we're happy to disclose, our data on the number of ambulance runs, number of women that have died. But the only way we really know about this is when sidewalk counselors or activists that are standing in front of the abortion clinics tell us.
That's right.
These people do not self-report. There's no state mandates that they have to report when an ambulance is called, when a woman dies, when a woman is maimed. And so the only information we get is organically from the eyewitnesses. And unless they have a camera or a video camera or some other recording device, there's no way that we're going to be able to prove this. But thankfully, we've trained people enough to take pictures when an ambulance shows up, and we record that information. But I believe firmly that it's just a fraction of the true numbers of women that are sent to the hospital rooms, ERs, and the morgues every single year from these chop shops. So like I said, Jeff Sessions, if he's going to really investigate the drug cartel and these mafia members, the corrupt organizations, you need to start with the abortion industry.
And they claim it's safe, and they yell it out, and they wear T-shirts, and they state it's safer than your tonsils being removed.
Right.
And
yeah. It's just
not so much.
It's amazing. But the thing we need to keep remembering is that, again, they have to defend these people because the thing that's killing the abortion industry today, right now, Troy and Renee, y'all have heard me say this before, the thing that's killing them is choice. That legitimate members of the medical community are choosing not to get involved with abortion. And so the only people they get are the people who either have a medical practice that they lose because of malpractice issues, or they're such bad doctors they can't get one to start with. And a lot of them, they're going to foreign countries and getting the washouts and the losers from those medical schools and bringing them here and helping them get citizenship, and they become abortionists here. A lot of these guys are not American trained or even, any other industrialized nation trained. They get trained at the biggest medical school on the Nile River or in Guatemala or somewhere, literally. But choice is killing the abortion industry. It's a beautiful irony here because doctors, legitimate physicians, nurses, and so forth, anybody that's legitimate in the medical community does not go to work at an abortion clinic, period, end of story. So they have to defend these people because this is all they can get.
And the people that work there are ashamed of it, and they don't want anybody to know where they work or what they do. Right. They hopscotch around it.
We once picketed an abortionist house in San Diego, and he told his neighbors that he was a brain surgeon. I mean, that's how ashamed he was. He doesn't want to tell these people he's an abortionist. But no, you're right. I wrote about this in my book, Abortion Free, that you do not rise to the level of an abortionist. You work really hard to become a neurosurgeon, a pulmonary surgeon, an oncologist, but when you sink to your lowest level in the community, in the medical community, you can't do anything else in medicine. What do? Become an abortionist.
You go to work in an abortion clinic.
You kill babies.
That's right.
For a living.
And now, of course, because they can't even get doctors to do it, you have these states, California, for example, passing laws to allow non-physicians to do abortions. What happened to the argument, Troy? 35 years ago when I would debate the abortion industry, one of their standard arguments was, we've got to have abortion be legal so it can be done by medical professionals, physicians who are trained and and graduate from medical school. That's the reason it has to be legal, so it's not done in back alleys.
Well, they're scrambling to get whoever they can because nobody wants to do it.
Or nobody wants to do it.
We've chased off many of the abortionists, and of course I always recite these numbers. Mark, you were the first one to record. We had about 2,200 abortion mills in 1991, the high water mark for the abortion industry in America. That number now is down right about 700, a little over 700 abortion mills.
Well, actually,
70%.
if you just count surgical abortion, it's about, what, 525?
515, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So medical abortions are on the rise, and surgical abortions are on the decrease. But overall, the numbers of abortions, the aggregate numbers, are lower.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Tremendously lower. But let me, I'll let you go here in a minute, Troy, but I want to make a point here. I'll make a prediction. Right now, if you were to confront the National Abortion Federation or NARAL or Planned Parenthood or anybody, and let's just use Carhart and Pendergraft as examples, but it could apply across the board, but let's just use these two as an example. If you were to confront them about the things that these guys have done, the standard thing that you would get back, because we've gotten this back a million times before, is, oh, they're great doctors, you're just attacking them because you don't like what they do, it's a political witch hunt, it's all these things, but they're good, high-quality medical providers that we're very proud to recommend and very proud to have them be members of the National Abortion Federation, and yada, yada, yada. That'd be the argument that you got. But the minute that these guys get absolutely caught, and they're caught in the trap where they can't get off, and maybe wind up going to jail or lose their license nationwide or whatever, then all of a sudden, when you start talking about how bad these guys are, the same people that would now defend them are going to come back and say, oh, but they're the outliers. They're not like the rest of our guys. They never were good doctors. They're this, that, and the other. Yeah. And you can't use them as an example of all abortionists because they're the bad apple in the bunch. Right. That will be their standard deal. And you wait when Carhart finally goes down for the last time and Pendergraft finally goes down for the last time. That's what their argument will be. And I have seen this.
Well, I mean, it's just like Finkel.
I was fixing to bring that up.
Yeah. Gosnell, same thing.
Gosnell's the same deal. Right. But Brian Finkel, we knew for years that he was constantly raping his patients while he had them under anesthesia, or sometimes when he didn't have, because he knew they couldn't say anything. They couldn't tell people where they were. Mm-hmm. So he was constantly raping his patients. We were bringing this up. The pro-aborts were attacking us, saying, oh, you're just going after this noble guy, and he's a champion of women's rights. And that's what they were calling him in Arizona, was a champion of women's rights. Well, finally, some of his own employees started turning on him. And when he got indicted for having raped one of his patients, 106 more women came forward.
That's right.
And said that he had raped them or sexually abused them or sexually assaulted them. And he actually went to prison. He's in the state penitentiary right now in Arizona. And I get letters from him. I'll let you read them.
What, the upside-down cockroach or roadkill or whatever.
Right, that's his name in prison is roadkill.
He's lost it.
He's losing his...
What? What's his name in prison?
Roadkill. And he sends me these letters all the time.
He's still innocent.
Oh, yeah, he's still innocent.
He didn't do anything.
My favorite story about Finkel is when he was up on appeal. Remember, he was in jail, he was up on appeal, and his cellmate sent a letter to the appellate board, and they said, listen, I'm a guy that belongs in here, I've done my crimes, and et cetera, so I just want to let you know, I know a thing or two. Do not let this man out.
Right. I remember that.
This is his cellmate.
That's crazy.
Whatever you do not let this man out.
We read that letter that he sent on Live Talk back when it happened. But, yeah, he said, look, there's a lot of guys in here that you could probably let out, and it wouldn't cause a lot of harm. But he says, whatever you do, don't let this guy out of jail. he is frightening.
He's a danger.
But now he's losing his touch with the reality. He's kind of losing it. But anyway, it was so funny because he was this, and I used to have arguments with the woman that was the leader of NOW in Arizona over this guy, and she would defend him to the hilt.
Where's she at now?
I don't know, and I don't even remember her name. I've got it written down somewhere. But anyway, she always used to tell me that he was just this champion for women, and they loved him to death, and Dr. Finkel this and Dr. Finkel that. And the second he got convicted, all of a sudden now, he's the outlier. He's the unusual one. No, all of our guys aren't like him. They will drop him in the grease in a heartbeat. And I'm telling you right now, that is exactly what's going to happen with Pendergraft. That's exactly what's going to happen with
Carhart. Yeah.
And it's exactly what's going to happen to about 90% of them out there. The second that they actually get caught and they can't be used anymore as abortionists, these people will turn on them in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
but
that's who they are.
We've seen it before. We'll see it again. Is that it, Troy? That's all you got?
Well, we can still keep running down the abortion industry all day, but for now, I think that's a good update.
I think so too. I appreciate your keeping up with all that stuff, and you guys at OR do a great job of not letting these guys get away with too much. And still, Troy, as good as you are at that, and as much as we do that sort of thing, and there's other groups out there that do it, and all these sidewalk counselors that are on the sidewalks in front and do it, I still guarantee you, Troy, they get away with 90% of the things they do.
No doubt.
We'll never know what goes on in between those.
We never know what goes on.
Four walls.
That's right. That's right. Well, thanks for helping us out, Troy. We appreciate it.
See you later.
Godspeed.
Talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Well,
this is a never-ending stream.
It's just a matter of time, isn't it?
It's just a matter of time before they get them.
Yep.
And like I said, the second they do get them, the abortion industry can deny that they ever knew them. Never even knew who these guys were.
That's how loyal they are, isn't it?
Yeah, they don't know loyalty.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else you have?
Yeah, just send us any suggestions or show ideas. We would love to have those, and if you do, we'll send you a mug. And if I haven't sent you a mug and you've given us a show idea, let me know.
No, let me know. Let me know.
Call the office or something.
Call somebody. But yeah, she's real bad about promising mugs and then not sending them out. So she's getting better.
I think I've only done it once, honestly.
Well, whatever, ever how many times it is, we're gonna milk it for all it's worth.
Okay.
Anyway,
let us know.
That's all the time we have for this show. We will see you again on Thursday. Until then, remember, Life Dynamics is not here to put up a good fight. We're here to win, because winning is how the killing stops. See you then.
Have a good evening.